Well, what was old is new again, that being the affordability strategy we've been telling you about. Now how the polls show Americans are frustrated with the economy, and the president's approval rating is now in the 30s. So now back to affordability that he campaigned on. So the sweeping tariffs were in place, and now he's carving out deals for specific items from each country to be changed. Things like coffee and bananas, things like that. Scripps News White House correspondent Haley Bull is live now to break down all the details. And Haley, there has been a deal on the table also with Switzerland. What is that one about?
Yeah, Del, certainly a significant announcement. One of a handful of new trade frameworks the administration is announcing this week, as they also simultaneously focus on that issue of affordability you mentioned as the government has reopened. The government's announcing that they have reached a memorandum of understanding with the intent for the U.S. to reduce its tariff rate for Switzerland to 15%. This comes on the heels of officials meeting this week. Conversely, the Swiss are expected to lower their duties on certain industrial and agricultural products, while Swiss companies are expected to invest about $200 billion in the United States. Now, the United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer says that they expect the trade deficit with Switzerland to be eliminated, saying this.
So we expect by the end of President Trump's term for that trade deficit with Switzerland to be eliminated because of these kinds of moves. And also, more importantly, there's going to be a structural opening of Switzerland to the United States. Switzerland on the industrial side already has fairly low tariffs, but they've agreed to remove all industrial tariffs. They've agreed to give us market access for things like poultry, which is really challenging for the U.S. and Europe. And so it's actually quite an important development that Switzerland's willing to do that. And of course, they'll give us access on pork and beef and seafood and a variety of other products that we make. So it's an exciting opportunity.
And additionally, Del, in addition to Argentina that you mentioned, the administration also announcing a slew of other frameworks for Western Hemisphere nations, a 10% rate for Guatemala, El Salvador, and Argentina, and new frameworks of agreements, and 15% for Ecuador. Now, senior administration officials say those countries are expected to open markets for, as we have heard with so many of these deals, agricultural and industrial products. Additionally, to not impose digital services taxes, and for some have specific provisions on critical minerals, what has been a major focus in trade relations for this administration. But at the same time, the White House is continuing to push its larger economic message, of course, which tariffs are a key part of, as they are trying to convince Americans that their plan is working. And we have seen them point to what they view as positive indicators, things like wage growth and purchasing power, while officials recognize work to do on that front. One official this week saying that President Trump will be out there with his economic message. And today, the president weighing in on social media on the affordability issue, saying that his party, the Republicans, he's insinuating, are the, quote, party of affordability. Specifically, he said, quote, cost and inflation were far higher under the sleepy Joe Biden administration than they are now. In fact, costs under the Trump administration are tumbling down, helped greatly by gasoline and energy. Affordability is a lie when used by the Dems. It is a complete con job. Of course, polling shows Americans still feeling some pain when it comes to the economy, what was a top issue in the president's election and remains a top issue today, Del.
Scripps News White House correspondent Haley Bull for us live on the North Lawn. Haley, thank you very much.